Greg. He should be here in about a half hour, but I figured I'd hop on. And before we got to our topics, before we got to the title, just sit here and talk with you guys, go over some stuff. Oh, YouTube randomly starting for no apparent reason. We're off to a great start. Guys, we are launching a new. We are actually live over on Shifting Lanes 2, which is awesome. We're giving that a test out. So if you're on Facebook, on YouTube, just want to say hello, everyone, and welcome to the stream. Hey, Charlie, what's going on? It's going great. It's a Monday. We're having a good time. Like I said, Greg's going to be here shortly. I just... Again, figured I'd hop on and chat with you guys before we got into our topics of the day. Did some cool things this week. We had, Mustangs getting worked on. I actually shot some C30 content. So for all you guys who are fans of the C30, it's C30 content incoming. So pretty excited about that. Hey, Steve, what's going on? When Greg gets here, we will absolutely hop into your topic, which I think today was something surrounding all-wheel drive, if I remember correctly. Thanks, Miguel. I appreciate it. Thanks so much for watching. Love you guys. While I have you guys, anything in the world is fair game. Well, almost. But... shoot me up. What do you guys want to chat about before we hop into these topics? Pretty interesting weekend in motorsports. Ross Chastain basically did the Gran Turismo hack of go on an oval and just mat the controller down and then just set it aside. That was pretty awesome. Not sure if they're going to really be keen on allowing that going forward, but that was pretty cool. Red Bull got their penalty, which... basically now teams can budget in an amount of money to cheat. Oh, well. Let's see here. I was reading a topic. Where was it? So you guys might enjoy this. In 2023, the European Series of NASCAR, yes, there is a European Series in NASCAR, is going to be racing on ice, which big ass NASCAR, sure. Definitely gonna watch it, because why the hell wouldn't I? But that's gonna be interesting as hell. Antoine, welcome back, man. We missed you, buddy. Thanks for coming back. Thanks for tuning back in. We appreciate you. And going from there. But yeah, NASCAR on ice. That's something. That's definitely something I want to check out. I'm like looking at this here. Let's go with, there we go. Nope, wrong one. Nope. Where the hell is? So yeah, there's a NASCAR on ice. I'm actually pretty interested to see what that's about, because that, not gonna lie, that looks cool as hell. Skinny little tires. But it's cool. I like. It's gonna be in. I'm not even gonna try that. Finland. There it is. But it's really cool to see, like, our sport kind of get, because NASCAR is kind of the American motorsport. Just is. It's cool to see they have a European Series 1, 2 that they're going to be racing on ice. And not for nothing, I think it's awesome that they're going to be a Garage 56 entrant at Le Mans. Like, that's, I mean, have no idea how they're going to do. They're probably going to be one of the slowest cars out there, but it's something they've done in the past. But yeah, sure. I'm in for it. Let me just, because again, like, everybody, like, there's this common misconception about NASCAR just making left turns all day. And while that is kind of it, there's a lot more to it. Not that I'm the biggest NASCAR fan. I prefer sports car racing, open wheel racing, and NASCAR in pretty much that order. Rally to a certain extent. I'm actually more into the American rally than I am the Europe rally, but it is what it is. Motorsports, I like the series that have a differentiator in style of car. So like I like F1 over Indy because Indy, the only differences really are the engines. NASCAR, okay, they have decals that make them look different, but there's really not that much difference. But in sports car racing, huge variety, and that's why I'm a big fan of that. Oh boy. Praise Dale, hell, raise hell. Yes, sir, Steve. Absolutely. Do it for Dale. Oh boy. Steve. Yeah, Steve, I mentioned Chastain's basically, like I said, he did the old Gran Turismo hack, right? You know, you needed some money from Gran Turismo. You went to the oval with the fastest, most powerful car you had, and you just pinned down the accelerator and walked away until you won. That was, I think that was hella awesome. I think it was a hella, like, it was, hey, what did he have to lose, right? And he did it. I don't know how much NASCAR is going to love that going forward, but yeah, that was epic. I think there's a TikTok floating around. Oh, that was just Greg telling me he'll be on shortly for all of those who like his face more than mine. I don't, I don't know if they're gonna want guys bombing into a wall on purpose on the last lap. That. But I'm a big fan of, hey, it's not illegal, and hey, again, what did he have to lose? Yeah, all that heat NASCAR racing, absolutely. My first thought was to the scene in Days of Thunder, where just lay it flat, the tires were holed, and then he rim rides around. That's literally one of the funnier, or that's, even though it's not anywhere remotely close to reality when it comes to NASCAR, that Days of Thunder still is one of my top racing movies of all time. It's just, I mean, it's epic. It's basically Top Gun in NASCAR. And, I mean, Top Gun kicks ass, and so does Days of Thunder. Let's see here. Where's here? I'm missing. Charlie, that had no idea there was a European NASCAR. I didn't necessarily know. I knew they were doing some of this. I didn't realize there was like a legit series. I personally think it would be really cool, like if the champion of the series got a ride at like the Daytona 500 or something like that. I think it'd be really cool. Like they do that in sports car racing, where like I forget the series and there's a mismatch of it, but like basically the guy with the most points ends up getting a ride in a pretty decent effort at the Daytona 24. Which again is a great way to get like people into the sport and isn't like a pay to win kind of a deal, right? Like Felipe Nasser was one of the first guys, and he was with Shank Racing, and he was doing awesome, and that led to a whole mess of different rides and things of that nature. So in racing now, it seems to be, if you have money, you go to the top of the list. I like seeing, the meritocracy of this, so to speak. Antoine, FL5 Civic Type R pricing, $43,000 and change. How do you feel about the price? Number 2, we're actually talking about a little later once Greg hops on. So absolutely, we'll answer that. As far as the Civic Type R pricing, while I'm not surprised about it, I am, what's the word? It's obvious these cars, we beg them to make them, and then they price them accordingly. And then kind of the thing is people who can afford them tend to gear towards more pure sports cars than like the pure hot hatch. Like you have a bunch of the enthusiasts who do that. I think for my money, $43,000 is too much for something like the CTR, no matter how good of a piece of engineering it is. It's just, that's a lot. I mean, let me put it to you another way. If you took a lump of $43,000, that's basically, let me just do this real quick. 43 minus 25. Whoops. 43. So if you, like, I bought my Mustang for $25,000, right? If I took, and then, yeah, I've basically, for that same amount of money, have a 2015 Mustang GT, and literally every part to booster and make her reliable with some money left over to have the work done to it. And for my money, that's way more interesting than the Type R. I'm not saying the Type R is a terrible car. It's not. It's awesome. Anyone who's ever driven one has just been wowed by it. It's just, it's a tough bit. I mean, let me put it to you this way. When you're in that $43,000 range, it would be GR Corolla first and foremost, because that car, there's just an air about it. The new 400 or Nissan Z is right in that range when you start adding options and things like that. And then the Type R would be kind of the third choice there. Just, again, after driving something with good performance, front wheel drive versus something rear wheel drive, if I'm going to go the performance route, I tend to lean that way, the rear wheel drive. It's, again, I don't mean to sound like I'm dumping all over the Type R, but it's not my first choice. Probably one of the wrong people to ask about that, because Sport Compact used to be my scene, but not really anymore. I know I have a Volvo C30, which is a hot hatch, and yada, yada, yada. But for $43,000, you could buy a perfectly good C30, all-wheel drive swap it, and have a bunch of money to push well over 400 horsepower. And to me, that's more interesting than just, I don't know. There's a lot of these Japanese cars, like the R35 GTR, right? Nobody is going to argue that that is an amazing piece of engineering. It's ballistically fast. It's the sole reason we got the GT2 RS from Porsche, because the GTR smoked the GT3's time, and Porsche's like, we will not have that. Turbo it now. And the world's a better place for that. So, like, I get it. It's just, you have that, the Type R, and there's a couple others that just, again, they're not for me. And I'm not to sit here and say that manufacturers absolutely continue to make these vehicles, and people who love them should absolutely buy them, or can, like, that sort of thing. Because at the end of the day, the Type R is a sports car. It just is. It may look like a hot hatch, but it's got every pretty much credential you could need for a sports car, plus more utility. Manual transmission, over 300 horsepower, like all the stuff we want as enthusiasts. It's just not the direction I'd go, if that makes any sense. Steve says 43 grand would be perfect to fix up my Jeep with some goodies and a down payment for a newer vehicle for my gal. Yeah, it's, look, let me put it to you this way. If I was given a Type R and said, drive it for a year, I would probably defend the little guy to the hilt. It's just, again, my tastes lie differently, and if it's for my money, I'd kind of go a different route. The second part of, like I said, Antoine's question was arguably the, you saw it in the thumbnail for those of you who are with us on YouTube. Suppose a third-gen GR86 coming with the GR Yaris, GR Corolla engine, and the GR86 to be on a new platform that may no longer share a BRZ platform. Maybe on a new Lexus platform, maybe the Lexus RC, if I had to guess. Actually, there's rumors about it being based off of the IS's platform. But again, when Greg is ready to go, we'll kind of dive into that, and Steve's Steve's question, or supporter question of the day. Let's see here. Oh, I should probably bear with me for a second, chat. I have to. Just getting ready for Greg's imminent arrival. Which one? There we go. Done. Settings. Probably should have done this all ahead of time, but perfect. Alrighty. Yeah. Sorry about that, guys. I'm trying to there we go, live control room. Alrighty. There we go. So actually the Type R does bring up kind of an interesting question. Because here's the funny thing. I used to be all about the hot hatch life. I had an original Focus, modified it. Yeah, one of the original Focus. I think in 2001, 2002 maybe. God, it's literally 20 years ago, so I apologize. And that's what got me into modifying. Well, that's not even true either. It's one of the cars that got me into the sport compact scene and modifying. And like, some of you OG guys will remember that I played baseball in college, and sometimes after practice, we'd have like, I don't know, if it was more than an eighth mile, if it was anything more than an eighth mile, I'd be shocked. But little parking lot drag racing, cars with not much power, just having a good time with it. And we just, led to some of the most fun I've had car-wise. And that Focus only had 140, 150 horsepower when at that time. My second Focus had more, but I was out of college at that point. Steve, way to show your age. As if, to those of you who watch every week, this wasn't enough. On the sideburns, What can I say? Maybe may come across as a mid-20s guy, maturity-wise, but almost 40. It's terrifying to say, but it is what it is. Alrighty. All right. Have a few of you in there. How many people... Actually, let's get it in chat. In chat, tell me your favorite kind of motorsport. Whether I know some of you like rally. We've asked this question a ton, but hey, can never stop asking to find out what people are into. Obviously, we're making content for you, so it helps. Let's see here. While you're doing that, Antoine, I read on Motor One that Cadillac has sold out the CT5 Blackwing for the second year in a row, and for its 2023 model year, Cadillac's V-Series Blackwing team is on a roll and not messing around about selling out the Blackwing brothers in full. Yeah. Here's the thing. There's American car buyers. If you take the luxury of, say, European vehicles and give it that American muscle charm that kind of harkens back to the, let's face it, people who are buying these cars are a little older. But, I mean, all that horsepower, all that handling, and a manual transmission, kind of a recipe for success, especially since Cadillac's interiors and stuff are very nice now, unlike the original CTS-V, which didn't match up with the overseas rivals or something like that. I love those cars. I have a buddy of mine, and I'm hoping to get to his garage at some point over the winter. If I can get to travel. I have a buddy of mine who's got a 750 wheel horsepower CTS-V, the last CTS-V. They're just an amazing platform. And hey, where are our friends who love the LS? Here's your moment to shine. Justin goes with drag racing. I love... Doug also loved the raw power of a drag race. Absolutely, man. Like, that's another motorsport that's often misunderstood by those outside of the circle. It's not just and go. There's a lot of nuance to it. There's a lot of, excuse me. Anybody who's ever gone drag racing in a manual will tell you that there's a lot of tiny little things that require a lot of skill to get right. And to be 100% honest with you, nailing that and getting it right is a massive adrenaline rush. It's also probably the most accessible form of motorsport for most people. I think at where we go, it's $35 for the night, as long as you have a certified helmet. And you can go as many times as you want. There's no real licensing until you get into the 10 or 11 second range, and then you have to get licensed, and as long as your car passes tech, you can go ahead and do it. Let's see here. Doug, that's why the Volvo beat you the first time. No Volvo has beaten me in a drag race. Actually, that's not true. Lou beat me in the C30 the first ever time I drag raced because I spun like hell, and the Mustang's Achilles heel is wheel hop. And but I'll tell you what, some of the best, most fun I've ever had was even with a terrible launch, just chasing that car down, just reeling it in. It's so much fun. Alrighty, we got a message from. Where'd it go? There we go. Alrighty, Greg will be joining us. Street racing, Fast and the Furious style. Yeah, sure. Look, if I don't mind, I like the no. Oh, wait, there's noises. People hear noises. Greg is. Let's see where Greg is. Oh, he hasn't turned his camera on. He's got me in the background. What's up, buddy? Oh, God, yes, can I hear you? That is loud. What's up, buddy? Yes, and if you could throw a controller. Hey, how is everybody doing? Oh, hold on. Hold on a second. We don't have a Greg cam. Greg, while I'm trying to figure out the what's going on here. Oh, that's why. Here we go. There we are. We were just talking about. So yeah. Anyway, we were just talking about motorsport, specifically our favorite forms of motorsport. We were talking drag racing. Justin corrected me. 10.5 and lower, you need a license. The car needs to go through a rigorous inspection. Thank you. But Greg, what's your favorite form of motorsport?
My favorite form of motorsport is Formula One. So I like pretty much all forms of motorsport. Used to watch NASCAR all the time when I was a kid. Also used to watch midget racing and sprint car racing all the time as a kid as well, and that was fun. Let's see, the thing I've watched the most is probably Formula One or IndyCar. I would say actually it's probably IndyCar. That's probably the one I watched the most as a kid, just because it was always available, and up until now, just as it was always available. Formula One wasn't always broadcast the way it is today, so Formula One now is the one I watch the most because it's easy, just because it's on ESPN and everything like that. But when I was growing up, we didn't have cable, we didn't have any of that stuff. We even had the cable box where it was like that actual box where you use that like slider thing to like get the channel, and it was like connected with a giant long wire to your TV. I grew up with like that kind of cable, so we never got Formula One through that. But IndyCar was on, everything. It was on ABC, when I was a kid. So we would always watch that, or NASCAR, because those were the two things that were on. But I've been to sports car racing, IMSA, NASCAR, anything like that I was at. But my favorite is Formula One, and that's what I'll always end up watching now. It's fun. Plus, both my kids like saying Botox, which is just funny.
Fantastic. Okay. That's mildly depressing. Let's go through some. Go through more in chat. Steve, also a big fan of rallying. There's not a lot to love about rally, mostly because the car control is berserk.
I've been to a rally too, actually. I went to a rally with Toyota actually a couple of years ago when they were doing their RAV4 in the North American Rally Series. They basically were in the front wheel drive class. They stripped out a RAV4 and they basically just sent it. It was the same engine, basically same drivetrain as a normal RAV4, put like a full roll cage in there and just sent it. And it was awesome. They crushed it. I think Ryan Millen was actually driving at that point. So, pretty well known in rally, the Millens. So, that was really fun. And I got to see Travis Pastrana. I got to see who's the other one? David Higgins for Subaru, which was cool too. So yeah, that was really neat because you got to see him like driving on the road because they had to like get from point to point, which is cool.
Nice.
Yeah, rally's fun. I like rally.
Yeah, I mean, Justin asked, Greg, how was the show on Sunday? I wasn't able to make it, but felt a pop in the back picking up a tire I shouldn't have tried picking up.
Yeah, not fun. Sorry about your back, man. But it was good. It was really fun. We went up there. We being me and another Volvo buddy, Joey, and his buddy Dan, who I'd driven his car actually on channel before. It was that like battle ready, so, sort of Subaru Outback wagon. But Joey's car was the Volvo S80 V8 that I drove on shifting lanes a while back. And it's actually for sale. So if anyone's interested, on stream, they can get in touch with me and I can put them in touch with Joey. But we went up and met there. And man, it was awesome. It was my first time at Lime Rock, and I got to like walk on the track, which was really cool. The whole pit lane was basically just full of vendors. The big parking lot, like right next to the track, was where all like the general admission was. So it was a blast. It was a lot of fun. A lot of crazy cars there. A couple of really cool ones. There was a gated manual Gallardo there that had an SC badge, and I thought it was a Squadra Corsa, but it didn't have like all the crazy carbon fiber door cards in there like the Squadra Corsas actually do, which is like a stripped out version. So I don't know what the SC badge stood for, but it was amazing. It was so good. And there was just a lot of like rare cars there. It was really cool. So really nice show. There's going to be more of those next spring. FCP Euro does. So if you're in the Northeast, they do all of their shows at Lime Rock Park because they are one of the title sponsors of the track there. They have the FCP Euro Proving Grounds, which is part of their whole like sponsorship deal with them. And it's basically their home race. So they do racing. I forget what class they're in now, but they have a Mercedes, like an AMG GTS body, but I don't know what tier they're racing in. They used to be in TCR America with the Volkswagen Golfs, the Golf TCRs, which is a cool series, and they ended up winning that series with that car. And what they do is that Lime Rock is their home race, so that's really cool, and it was awesome. And they do different makes as the featured make for some of these meets. So this one was Volkswagen and Audi to close out the season. I think the first one this year was actually Volvo. So I'm hoping in May of next year or June, depending on when they do the Volvo one, I'm going to go back up there and hopefully we get to park on the track because the featured make gets the Samposi straight to themselves. So this time it's just all Volvos and Audis as far as the eye can see. But when I go up, I'm going to hopefully park my Polestar right on the Samposi straight, which will be pretty special and pretty cool. But it was a good meet.
I think they're in GT. It's a GT4 class. So
okay, that sounds about right.
And no idea about the Lambo SC. I'm pretty sure Squadra Corsas say Squadra Corsa on them because Lambo.
Yeah, I thought that they do, but I don't think they do outside. I think they did inside with like that SC badge, but all the Squadra Corsas were all like super lightweight, stripped out. There's only like 100 of them ever made for like the whole world for the Gallardos. So, and Steve made a good point. SC usually means supercharged, but it's definitely not. It wasn't. It was just a clean V10. It was just a normal Gallardo with a gated manual, but the whole interior was tan. So I don't know what it was. Maybe Squadra Corsa body kit, because it definitely had an updated front end. It was not a normal Gallardo front end. So I'm wondering if they did just like an aesthetics build and just put the SC badge to make it look like a Squadra Corsa, because it had the upright wing, like a fixed rear wing that was all carbon fiber. So I wonder if it was like a Squadra Corsa body kit. Yeah, it was interesting. But yeah, it was awesome. We should definitely go up there as a shifting lane squad. Whoever can make it next spring. I think that'll be really cool.
I think that'd be pretty awesome as long as they allow, you know, coyotes.
Well, they had a bunch actually. They had a bunch of domestics up there, so it's not just a Euro show. The only Euro thing about it is the front straight. Like you get like a featured make and whatever. But you know, there was tons of stuff. There was a purple C4 Corvette in the parking lot. There was a pair of Chevy SS's that were, you know, all badged up like Holdens. So you can bring whatever you want. There was a GT500 there, so and a Viper ACR.
Oh, that's
so,
right.
like,
I remember that.
anyone that has like a cool car can just kind of come out. It's a car show put on by a Euro car maker or a Euro car parts supplier. So it's not just like, oh, you have to bring a European car. If you want to park on the straight, yeah, you need to bring the European make that they're featuring. But it's just a car show, and it was awesome. The camaraderie was really cool. I talked for like 20 minutes with a guy that brought up a '09, I think his name was Taylor, an '09 Subaru Outback that he turned into almost like a legacy GT. He dropped a 5-speed manual into it.
Boo.
He built it out to about 370 wheel horsepower. He paint matched the fenders to be pearl white. He added like front winglets on it too. So he did like a bunch of JDM stuff to it to make it look more like a legacy GTB, which is cool. It was a really nice build. And if you watch some of our reels, I'm going to feature him and that build in some of the reels, and also from the vlog for the day, from that day. So it was really cool. It was a nice car. It was a really well done car. And it was total grandpa spec inside, which made it so much cooler because it was just tan interior. And if you were sitting in it, you would have never guessed it was anything, you know, crazy. Then you step outside and you're like, oh, that has a hood scoop. All of this is not supposed to be there. JDM everything. It was really kind of cool. So you can bring whatever you want.
Oh, good to know. You should do that with a Volvo XC.
Wait, what? The XC90?
Not the XC90, but what's the Outback for Volvo?
Oh, the XC70. Yeah, definitely. I actually have wanted to do that. That's one of my dream Volvo builds, is to take either a P2 or a P3 XC70 and like lower it, because you almost have like a factory wide body kit with it, which is cool. So I would love to do that one day. I think that'd be cool, if possible.
Steve had a manual swapped Legacy Outback wagon. There you go.
Nice.
Doug, let me ask you a question. Doug, what don't you have an extra of? I think a couple weeks back you had an extra white block lying around. Now you have an extra XC60 lying around. I mean...
Yes. He has all the things. Doug has all the cars.
All right, real quick before we're going to tap into part 2 of Antoine's... or did you want to do the Steve's question first?
Well, let's do Steve's question first, because he's on, and as a subscriber, he should get first billing, unless otherwise requested not to. So let's get to Steve's question first. I'm just trying to connect to my Wi-Fi with my other computer, and then I will be good to go.
Fantastic. While you're doing that, Antoine asks a couple of good questions. By the way, Antoine's back. I don't know if you noticed that, Greg, but...
Antoine, what's up, man? Good to have you back.
Which racing series has the best racetracks? It can be in the ES, it could be anywhere, or it can be anywhere around the world. What city state has the best racetrack for enthusiasts? Whether in autocross, track racing, or drag racing, it doesn't matter. I mean, I think F1 has a lot of like great legacy tracks. I think the WEC though hits a lot of those tracks. IndyCar does a lot of great North American stuff.
That's a tough question because it varies a lot.
Right.
WEC is a good shout because it does a lot of F1 tracks, but also does a lot of other tracks that you wouldn't necessarily see.
And it's Le Mans,
for example. Right. Le Mans, like other things that are just well known, but you wouldn't like. Not that they go here. I don't know if they go here, but like a track like Watkins Glen, you'd never see Formula One going there anymore. But you may see like a sports car series or a WEC go there for a track that's like steeped in history, and that's a great track. It's a really wonderful track.
Right, and
but like WEC goes to tracks like that where Formula One just doesn't.
and the cool thing about the Glen is everybody thinks NASCAR about the Glen these days, but like the cool thing is when Sports IMSA goes there, they race in the boot, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah, NASCAR doesn't do the full track, which is a bummer.
It's I guess a modern NASCAR couldn't do the requisite number of laps having to go down that hill or something. They explained it to us when we were up there with Toyota, but
I don't remember what they said.
Yeah, and as far as state, I'm just gonna say California because they have Sonoma, they have Laguna Seca. They used to,
Big Willow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Willow Springs, Chuckwalla. I mean, yeah. We'll go with that. I'm sure.
I'll say California too. They have a lot in California.
But Lime Rock's a great track. If you've ever had the, well, you haven't, but anyone in chat who might have had the chance to drive on Laguna or not Laguna, Jesus Christ, Lime Rock. It is a hoot to drive. Like it's basically imagine circuit racing, but the short track version of it. Actually, hold on one second. Greg, be entertaining.
Oh, geez, that's gonna be really tough. Should I do more yoga? Everyone seems to really like that. Also, I think Christian donated stars to see me do yoga, so maybe I should do more of that. But also, no, I'm not going to do more yoga. Oh, there you go. No name, better than John Doe straight on Lime Rock Park. I like it.
Yeah, because I don't know if they've renamed the backstretch, but that's literally what the straight was called. They're like, we couldn't come up with a name, so there it is.
I know that one of them is the Stamposi straight.
Yeah, I know that was relatively recent, so I
yeah, I think that's the front straight now.
But
because that's where the pits were. That's where we were for the meet.
Gotcha. Yeah, I gotta see if I can find it. Like, we gotta dig. So we've had this like just massive like old pictures and stuff. I gotta go and see it because there are some great pictures of me when I was a kid and we went up there for an IMSA GT race. A bunch of
nice.
I mean, this is definitely gotta be close to 25, 30 years ago, but it was it was a great memory. But yeah, what is today's supporter? Go.
Today's supporter question comes from the one, the only Steve Veldkamp, who is in chat, who's also a Jersey guy. So thumbs up for that. Steve wants to know, are there any like reliable all-wheel drive cars, or what's better, four-wheel drive or all-wheel drive? And I sort of elaborated on that in our Shift Squad group, which is a group you can subscribe to help support the stream as well as our other endeavors. It's a little, once per month you get charged. It's like $5. It helps us basically make more cool content for you. So if you guys want to do that, you can just search Shift Squad on Facebook or go to our Facebook page, Shifting Lanes, and then you can literally just type or hit subscribe at the button up top, and then it'll subscribe for you. We'll drop the link in chat too. If you do want to do that, that would be awesome. That helps support us, and that would be great. But we also bring you guys in to talk about, car things. And we're also polling, everyone that's a supporter and going down the line of like, what stream topic do you want us to talk about? And this was Steve's for this week. And I sort of elaborated on that to say, do you really need all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive as a commuter car or in commuter cars, essentially? This car behind me is a Volvo V60 Polestar, and it has all-wheel drive. My last three cars, daily cars, have been all-wheel drive cars. So the first question we'll get to is what Steve actually asked is, reliable all-wheel drive, four-wheel drive cars. Now, are there any? Yes, there are many. The first one that comes to mind is actually a Subaru, because Subaru does make a couple of reliable cars, the Impreza being one, but the XV Crosstrek I think now just called the Subaru Crosstrek, is the other one, and that's a really underrated car. It's basically an Impreza wagon that's been lifted, but it's becoming sort of more of its own model. And you could say the same thing for the Outback. Both of those cars have really pretty excellent reliability and are known to just be really good all around all-wheel drive cars for commuters. Other cars that are fairly reliable for all-wheel drive. I don't know. I think Toyota makes an all-wheel drive Camry now. I'm not sure if there's an all-wheel drive Accord. I don't know. I want to say no. I don't think that there
No.
is. But yeah, so there you go. But there are general commuter cars out there, and a lot of them I'm blanking on right now. There's tons of them that are all-wheel drive, and they're pretty much all reliable. Same thing in the SUV space. Subaru Forester, Honda CR-V, Toyota RAV4, all very reliable commuter cars. Bigger SUVs, Ford Explorer, not like crazy reliable, but decent. As Steve knows, most Jeeps not really that reliable, but four-wheel drive cars. So there are reliable all-wheel drive cars out there for sure. Now, the other side of that is which one is better, all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive? And that's sort of a matter of opinion because it depends on what you're doing. For commuter cars, all-wheel drive is probably better because you don't really need four-wheel drive all of the time, and all-wheel drive is just you just driving all the wheels. You don't have to have like a transfer case. There's a little bit, I don't want to say less mechanical bits because all-wheel drive does have a pretty decent amount of mechanical stuff going on, obviously. But for inclement weather for commuter cars, all-wheel drive is probably better. But if you're going to be off-roading, like serious off-roading, four-wheel drive is probably a better option. Not that all-wheel drive is a bad option, because there are plenty of all-wheel drive cars that tackle Moab and all of these like crazy places that you can take, four-wheel drives and off-roaders on. Volvos, you can build older Volvos into pretty amazing off-road rigs. There's a couple of people out there that have P2 generation, which is like I think 01 through 07 XC70s, which we mentioned just previously a couple minutes ago. They lift them up. They have big, huge, knobby tires on like really cool Volvo wheels, and they take them anywhere. And they go pretty much anywhere too. IPD actually famously built one for, I want to say it was SEMA, but I don't remember. It was a big orange one. It was so cool looking, and it was a concept that IPD did, and that's a really good example of like a Volvo that can go off-road. All-wheel drive, not four-wheel drive. But Steve, as we know, if you've been on chat with us or are in the supporter group, Jeeps are good for four-wheel drive. Obviously, they're great off-roading cars with the Wranglers and the Cherokees and all that. So if you're going to do serious off-roading like that, four-wheel drive is probably a little bit better. But again, it depends on your use case and depends on your application. Do you need four-wheel drive to go crazy off-roading? No. If you want to tackle, big boulder problems and stuff with cars, there are a couple cars out there that can do it. Jeep Wrangler is probably one of the better ones out there for it. So, it depends on your use case is the answer to the question. But I don't think either one is better than the other. I think the application is just different for what you're doing essentially.
Well said. Here's a couple of things, right? Most crossovers nowadays are all-wheel drive. They're the best-selling.
I can't see you.
The best-selling vehicles out there right now. So, yes. Here's it. I'll touch on you pretty much said it. If you're going to go off-roading, selectable four-wheel drive is better because it's designed to do that task a lot better. But as we can see, all-wheel drive is tunable to the point where every rally car has it. You even saw it in Audi did all-wheel drive in IMSA with their crazy machine. You see it in modern cars or modern sports cars like the Toyota hypercar. it is all-wheel drive. It's a different type of all-wheel drive, but it is. But then you go to like Baja and stuff like that. There's two-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, and obviously four-wheel drive. General rule of thumb: four-wheel drive just beefier, stronger, meant to handle a little more aggressive form of non-paved driving.
Yeah.
That brings up the question, is it? Do you need it for your daily commute? Depends on where you live, but where we live in New Jersey, we get pretty, depending on your angle, decent or horrible winters. And all-wheel drive is a nice luxury to have. However, if you're in a car with a wheel and tire combo that has decent tread, that isn't a sports tire, but it's, an all-season or even a winter tire. If you have a lot of sidewall and a good tread on your tire, you will get most places. And if you can't, then you really shouldn't probably be on the road.
Right. That's 100% correct.
But if
I think that goes into the like, do you really need all-wheel drive? And the answer to that is no, you don't. Do you really need four-wheel drive? And like in commuter cars? No, you don't. You absolutely don't. The biggest argument people say is, oh, well, you have more traction and more grip. And, while that may be true, no, in certain applications, no one should be going fast enough on the road that you need all-wheel drive to pull through a turn. You shouldn't need all-wheel drive to get you out of a sticky situation in rain or snow. All you need is the correct tire. And that's something that I've argued ever since I had a Subaru WRX. Like, you don't need four-wheel drive or all-wheel drive on commuter cars. You just don't. You need a appropriate tire for the conditions. And that's why a lot of people in the enthusiast community run a dedicated summer and winter setup, myself included. These are summer tires on the OEM wheels, and I have a set of winters that I'll be swapping on in the next month once temperatures drop sort of below 50 consistently. So, I'll leave it like this. I would rather have a rear wheel drive car with winter tires in the snow than an all-wheel drive car or a Subaru or whatever, the best all-wheel drive car you can think of, with all seasons on it. Because there are countless tests on YouTube and through journals and tire manufacturers that are not just out to sell tires that have shown that winter tires perform better on other cars that aren't all-wheel drive, when all-wheel drive cars have all seasons. So, little public service announcement by me. So like, you just need the appropriate tire. You don't need all-wheel drive, and commuter cars don't need all-wheel drive at all. They really don't. It's right now, all-wheel drive on cars is a purely marketing exercise to sell cars to people that are scared to drive in inclement weather of any kind. That's all it is.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. As with any platform, let's be real, it comes down to the end user.
Yeah.
If you're putting the right stuff
100%.
on, it's just like you're not going to put knobbly off-road tires and then go do autocrossing.
Though I would love to see that.
It's if you're intelligent with you do the right things with your car. It's just the same thing. If you don't change the oil in your car forever, your engine's not going to be reliable. If you don't put the right tires on your vehicle, it's not going to perform all that well.
Yep.
Justin says the need for all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive can usually be determined if you measure the amount of snow you get in inches or feet. True. Antoine says, I feel like all-wheel drive is mainly for coupes, hatchbacks, and sedans. Four-wheel drive is for pickup trucks, CUVs, SUVs, but they kind of do the same thing. Again, it's just four-wheel drive is beefier. It's stronger. All-wheel drive is more, for lack of a better way of putting it, customizable, right? You can adaptively send power to different wheels via electronics, whereas a four-wheel drive system is more prone to different choice of differential. I mean, both are, but mostly it's down to you can go fast on pavement in all-wheel drive. If you try to do that in four-wheel drive, you will roast the inside tires. Steve, I can block it with all-wheel drive. Don't we all? And also Steve, he also has four-wheel drive on the Jeep. That's why people love Jeeps.
That's right. That's part of the reason why people buy them, for sure.
And Antoine, Florida life, you don't need all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive down here. True. Front-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive is just fine. I drive with the rear-wheel drive and all-season tires because they last long, and all-season tires work just as good as summer performance tires in the heavy rain. If you know anything about Florida rain, you know. Yes. All great points.
I mean, if you're in Florida, there's zero reason to have anything any better than an all-season. And also, all seasons, I like to say all seasons mean no season because they're just good for everything. But they also last a lot longer and are a much better use for a commuter car. Like summers wear out, winters wear out, they wear out a lot faster. All seasons, you can get 50, 60, 70, 80,000 miles on them, especially in Florida where it's all flat and you're not taking corners like mountain roads. You know, I have a bunch of friends in Florida. There aren't a lot of good driving roads in Florida. It's basically just one big flat state. So, you know, all seasons in Florida should absolutely last you 80,000 miles. Up here in New Jersey, it might last you 50 or 60, but just because of like a lot of the turns, the inclement weather and what have you. But in Florida, you should 100% get 80,000 miles out of a set of tires for sure. And you don't need anything better than that unless you're running like a performance car, in which case, yes, get some summers to, you know, get the best performance out of your car. But like, you know, you don't need anything more than all seasons, honestly. Plus, if you have rear wheel drive in all seasons, they roast a lot easier.
I prefer to put spring or fall tires on my car. But
that's going to be a new marketing ploy that no one buys.
Are you sick of having to put your summers and winters on? Put your spring tires on. They're
put your spring tires on. Only good from March through May.
Or get the benefit. Spring. It's kind of in the winter and it's kind of in the summer. Rebrand all season tires.
And fall tires, good for that wet leaf grip.
Work best when inflated with pumpkin spice.
Yes, that's right. Pumpkin spice tires. They'll be huge with Ocean County moms.
The most basic tire package.
The most basic B tire package.
Oh gosh. Doug says, did you ever see Fuzz's 401 CJ drag Jeep? Nope. Slicks on the front, knobbies on the front. The man is insane. Sounds it. I'll definitely have to check that out.
That sounds ridiculous. I mean, drag Jeep doesn't even, you can stop there. You don't even need to explain it. It just sounds ridiculous.
Great. Another great shirt idea.
I run spring and fall tires. Winter and summer are too overdone. I like that. Credit to Steve for that t-shirt.
Should we put it on a Jeep platform?
But credit to Steve for... Yeah. Yes. Just PSL is the writing on it. But credit to Steve for that topic. It's a good topic. And it's an important topic because, you know, everyone says all-wheel drive is like, oh, you have to have an all-wheel drive car. You just don't.
I mean, if you combine both my cars, I have all-wheel drive. Front wheel and rear wheel, but I'll let myself out. What's next, Greg?
Yes. I don't know. What did we have in our chat? I'm not in our chat.
Oh. Well, I guess since it was asked, so before you got on, Antoine had a great question, and he was talking about the GR86, which is basically, if you guys haven't been paying attention, there is a rumor floating around. Where is it? Where basically the next gen GR86 is going to have the 3-cylinder turbocharged engine from the GR Corolla, going to be on some Lexus platform. Many believe, or if the rumor is to be believed, I believe it's going to be an IS platform. It's going to be mildly hybridized and make somewhere in the neighborhood of over 300 horsepower. And I mean, that's all we've been asking for the GR86 and BRZ is just give us 300 horsepower.
Yeah.
This, I should point out, this is all rumor and speculation at this point in time.
Yes.
It's not by any means confirmed by any source we have within Toyota or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I have some thoughts on this. I'll let you get yours out because I know you had some fairly strong opinions on it, and then we'll kind of discuss from there.
Yes. So I'm opening another seltzer. I've upgraded from juice to seltzer. So my strong opinion is this. I don't see at all ever that car getting a Lexus platform. I just don't. I don't think it's happening. The only thing that it would get is an RC platform, and that platform and chassis is older than dirt. So there would not be, by 2025, unless they do a joint GR86 RCF or RC, joint platform. I don't see it happening. I think that actually has less of a chance of it happening than the Corolla engine going in. And I think the Corolla engine here is an excellent play. I believe that if Toyota really wants to make this thing a sports car, and it's a sports car. Like, look, let's be honest. It is a sports car. If they want to make this a serious sports car, and ditch the whole Supra BMW thing, then they need to have the Corolla engine in there, and they need to push it to 350 horsepower, because that would be around what you're getting for like a base Supra. I know it said 330 something when it just came out, and now it's 382, right? But these three cylinders out of the GR Corolla and the GR Yaris in Europe, people are tuning them to 500 horsepower on stock internals. They are a strong engine. There is a picture roaming around the internet of that engine with everything sort of like cracked open. The cylinder walls are as thick as my head. This thing can take power for sure. So that engine in this car, you don't even need a new chassis or a new platform. That engine in this car, as it sits, world beating. That is what we are hearing as far as how good this platform is as a driver's car. But with the engine that it deserves, I think that's huge, and I see that happening more so. There it is. Like, that is insane. Look at how thick those cylinder walls are for a 3-cylinder.
With 3 C's.
Yeah, thick.
So
it's definitely thick 30 with that engine in those cylinder walls.
So here's where I'm at. I think you could do a shared platform, and let's face it, if you look at, like, let's just say hypothetically speaking, the Alpha platform with GM for years. That was a Cadillac, that was a Holden, that was a sedan, it was a Camaro, it was a mid-size sedan, it was a full-size sedan, eminently modular, but it basically shared so many components to where it drives the cost of things down. I mean, just think about it for a second. If you can get a Camaro SS for a certain price with a V8, and then you got, it makes things more affordable. So if you went to a quote-unquote mother chassis for the GR, it would make sense. But how many of them, like everything in car development, if the more cars you make, the more cars you sell, the cheaper the R&D and the process of going through it becomes.
Right.
And so let's just say you make a ton of these and you make 25% as many insert Lexus sedan here. I think that's possible. I do agree with you. I don't think it's very likely. Just because they already have this chassis. They went through they just released this thing not that long ago. They made a ton of chassis improvements to it as far as this rigidity, all this other sort of stuff. They ditched the idea of the, goofy tires to make it drift easier. Like that was a good idea on public roads.
Yeah, not great.
So you take the boring stuff aside. Is that this rumor sounds more like a wish list to me than actual a Toyota leak, right? What would make more
Right.
sense is that they would put the 3-cylinder in this platform and call it a day. Because, look, I think this car would be great with right around 300 horsepower. It doesn't have to have much more than that. And you have a lightish 300 horsepower rear wheel drive manual sports car. And that is quite literally everything we have been asking for this type of car. Because I think if you start straying into the Lexus, you start straying into the hybridization, you start straying into all these categories, at some point you're going to end up with a car that is basically the same price as a Supra, a 4-cylinder Supra. And at that point, why does the 4-cylinder Supra need exist? If you did this,
Yeah.
But if it's like everything else, like the 4-cylinder Supra by itself is a great sports car. But because the 6-cylinder exists, nobody really wants the 4-cylinder. Just like an EcoBoost Mustang. That is a very capable vehicle. It makes over 300, and in some cases 350 horsepower. And you really got to think about it, the 4.6 modular V8 that was in Mustang GTs of old made less horsepower than that. And yet, because the V8 exists, nobody really wants the 4-cylinder or the EcoBoost. They settle for it. Just like if you say made a base version of this with just the Corolla engine and say it was in a detuned state of 260 horsepower or whatever. And then you put the full fat 300 horsepower version. Then there was the full fat hybrid version and stuff. Nobody aspires for the base model, right? And you would kill the charm of this car. You would kill the charm of it being affordable, because guess what? Even if it's not like Subaru doesn't make a turbocharged 4-cylinder that can make 300 horsepower that would bolt almost directly into this, and all you would have to do, like, you know what I mean? That would make the most sense. And yet, turbo adds price, and now all of a sudden, 5, 6, 7, 8 grand more on top of it. Is it the affordable sports car that people are actually buying, or do they just sit here and say, take it, modify it, it's fine? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
well, here's my problem with it as it sits. They upgraded the engine to a 2.4 liter, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a 2.4 liter out of a Subaru Ascent. The Subaru Ascent has a turbo version of this engine. Why didn't you just put that in the car in the first place? Like, I don't understand why they have to make this thing NA. I get why they did it, but I don't understand it. Because for the marginal gain they had to go from a 2.0 to a 2.4, and everyone says, oh, they get all of that big torque dip, was now gone with this engine.
Still there, just not as noticeable.
And it's so much, right? It's just. It's still there. It's just like it's yeah, right.
Boxers
exactly.
and these Subaru engines NA just aren't torque monsters. They just aren't.
No, they're not, and they never will be. But the thing is, like, you had the engine turboed. You don't have to make 300 horsepower in this car. 250 with 220, 215 pound-feet of torque is all you need. That's it. And that's bothered me since day one. And everyone has been saying, oh, yeah, it's such a better engine and blah, blah, blah. And, there was even one guy that I think Hansen had met on either the launch or something. And I was watching his videos, and he was doing a video at the launch event for this car. And I think Scott Speed was the driver. He'd been hired by Subaru to come in because he's one of the drivers for Subaru. He'd come in, and this guy came in and talked about it. This is it's sort of like a Porsche Boxster, and I'm like, I lost all respect for everything after I heard that in the video. And I'm just like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. If people are comparing this thing to a Porsche Boxster, which is arguably the best sports car on sale today, no, no. Especially with an engine that is anemic still and was turboed in another application in a family SUV that you could have detuned for this sports car or even stroked out to a 2.5 or whatever. Either way, it's
You don't have to do any of that
absurd
sort of R&D.
that
Just
they
take
put
engine
it
A, change the mapping to match
right,
sports cariness,
right.
and send it. So
That's the biggest gripe I've had with the car since day one. It's like you literally took a 260 horsepower turbo engine, ripped the turbo off, and threw the NA into the sports car. Dumb, so dumb. The worst decision you could have humanly made for that.
So the thing I will say about the whatever the 86 RZ platform, right? I think it always had an 86 and a BRZ, right?
Yeah, correct.
Is I again, let's go back to life before these cars. Everyone's like, the Miata, whether you believe it or not, or want to argue the nomenclature or whatever. What was the biggest gripe everybody had with a Miata? That wasn't someone who was an avid Miata owner or had even driven one. They were kind of, and for lack of a better way of putting it, a chick's car. You know, it's a convertible that always kind of this, it's cash, blah, blah, blah. So they gave us basically a two-door coupe Miata. And it looked better, in my opinion, not until the ND came around, and then we ended up with that. And I understand making hotter and hotter variants of a car, again, drives price up. And we were talking about the Civic Type R earlier. And you end up in a car that kind of outprices the people who want it. So I get it from that standpoint. But what I don't get is you're already making an engine. You're already putting that engine into things. Why not put it into one of these? Again, it doesn't,
Right.
whatever it is, and it just, our first ever press car was the FRS, if I'm not mistaken, right?
100% right. Scion FRS.
And that thing was a ton of fun, but it just felt like it took forever to get going.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. I would love to see this with the 3-cylinder. I think that's maybe possible. I don't see it with a hybrid at all because lightweight sports car plus batteries doesn't really make sense.
Correct.
And again, I go back and forth on this. I could see it sharing a platform with a Lexus just because it would help offset some of the cost for a new Lexus platform, so to speak, right? And that kind of gets into Antoine's thing. He says, let's just say hypothetically it does happen. Which platform for Lexus is the size of a GR86? Is the IS, LC, or RC? IS, you'd have to remove the rear doors. At that point, a two-door IS would just be another LC or RC. So, real quick, 100% Justin, that's the route they should go. I'll get onto that in a second.
No coyote swapping.
None of the closest would be the IS. And putting a different body on that quote-unquote chassis wouldn't be the hardest thing in the world to do. And to the second part of your question, if you remove the doors, at that point it's a two-door IRS, hypothetically, it would just be an LC or an RC, which technically isn't accurate because the LC is a bespoke chassis to the LC. It does not share any of its... You might share some componentry as far as the physical parts, but as far as the dimensions, layout, whatever, the bones of the chassis, it's bespoke to the LC. The RC is part IS and part GS. It's kind of a hodgepodge, and it has if I'm remembering correctly, it's wider than an IS. Which again, you can make a car's narrower or wider at the factory level pretty easily, but it would have to be a new chassis. You don't realize how small the GR86 or the BRZ is until you're next to it.
Yeah, it's small.
It's tiny. I don't. Again, if it went with the Lexus chassis, there'd have to be kind of a compact Lexus, which okay, I could kind of see happening given the way the world. But like again, how much development is a car company going to put into a new sedan or whatever chassis when EVs are coming, crossovers are outselling everything? Just how much effort would they put into it? Or would they just update the current platform, plop a new engine into it, maybe make the full fat 400 horsepower hybrid version the Lexus, because the heavier the car, usually speaking, the better it rides. You know, it'd be a more comfortable GT cruiser. Kind of makes sense, but I don't know. It's weird, man. Like I got back and forth because the original SC from Lexus was a longer wheelbase version of the Supra, the Mark IV Supra. So like, I don't know. Would I love to see it? Yes. Yeah. Do I think it's likely? Probably not. But that being said, someone should put the 1.6 liter turbo 3-cylinder into one of these things and be like, see?
Yeah. And you know what? I bet you someone will. I bet you someone will find a crashed GR Corolla or Yaris and shove one of these in there. Guaranteed it's going to happen before 2025. Guaranteed. I'd put $100 on it. $100 bet on it right now.
Oh, without a doubt. That's
– 2.5 years for it to happen. Someone's going to do it.
Yeah. Steve, just slow down, man. Like, you don't need to eat all the candy tonight.
No, eat it all. All the candy. Make it happen.
Doug says the Miata's too short for me, but I wouldn't drive a convertible with the top up unless I get caught in the rain. Then it doesn't matter. That's the point of convertibles. I've never been a big convertible guy, but I believe I'm in the minority on that particular.
No, I'm not a convertible guy either.
Holy crap, we agree.
There's one car that's converted me, and it converted me in the fact that I would only get like a really serious sports car as a convertible, just because of the noise. And it was the Jaguar F-Type V6, because that's one of the best sounding V6 engines ever made. And that car made me realize when I ripped that at a press event, I was like, oh, I understand now. I get it. And like I get that Miatas and other like small sports car, small convertibles are cool, and you get the the wind in your hair or no hair. But that engine and the way that thing sounded when I drove it, chef's kiss. It was insane. And I get why people buy convertible like Gallardos, because like having a V10 right in your ear with nothing behind you, I get it. I get it.
Less mufflers. But I will say this, the Jag, what is it? The what the hell? The hot version of the V6 that has 400 supercharged horsepower out of the V6 is incredible.
They don't make it anymore.
Something 400.
Something 400. Yeah.
And
but that one's good. That was a really good one.
And then kind of close out this, Justin says putting the 3-cylinder in sounds like a new build you guys need to make happen. Justin,
yes.
And well, really everyone, but Justin, you should lead the charge and goat the rest of chat to do this. Share this with the 10 million people and get them to give us 50 cents each.
Yeah, that's actually an interesting point. If every one of the people on our Facebook page, 592,000 people, gave $1, all you got to send is 100 stars. That's it. That's $1.
And
you know what? If every one of them sent 100 stars, we could basically do whatever the hell we wanted. So
yeah,
there's only 10 people on the live stream right now on Facebook. So not happening, but fun to think about.
Yeah, and then Antoine brings up the point.
Steve sends $1. Thanks, Steve. That's our first one. Our first one to the Corolla.
All right, 499,999 more to go, or whatever it was. I'm not doing fast math.
Steve, you're a legend, man. Thank you.
Antoine says this is why an AP3 generation S2000 needs to come back, because this is what's missing in the Roadster and two-door coupe sports car segment to compete with the so-called third-gen GR86 and an actual MX-5 Miata. I mean, yeah. I mean, here's the thing, right? If that kind of hit all of the things you want in a car like this. Revved to the... Thank you, Justin.
Justin also sends 100 stars. $2 towards our Corolla swap.
We're getting there.
Right in the bank. Thanks, guys. You
but
guys
the
are both legends.
The S2K was the perfect kind of small sports car. Made 250 horsepower, had a galactic red line for an inline four engine, looked the part, sounded the part, was just a great vehicle all the way around. Problem is for someone else to come up with it, they'd have to develop the chassis, and sadly I don't know if that's necessarily going to happen, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I would love for them to actually bring back the S2000. A very unpopular opinion. I'd love to see them bring the S2000 back as an EV sports car. I think that would be cool. I think that Honda has an.
I'm muting you. You're muted. They can't hear you. They can't hear you. Or
if Volvo can make that old O2 concept and make it look real cool,
right? But that's not it's not like a heritage thing. Like you have
no, it's true.
You have to remember the first ever Honda road car was an S, the S500, I think it was, which became the 600 and the 800 or something like that. But the first car, that is literally Honda's heritage right there, is the S car. Sure. And what was the hallmark of all of these cars was a screaming, high-revving, four-cylinder engine. I don't mind if you want to bring back something like that, but please don't call it something like that. Just make it something new and different and have it be standalone in our future as a great vehicle that might harken back to this stuff, but I'm tired of classic car names just being recycled for EV sales.
Would you be angry if it was the S3000?
Yes.
Okay, so just S.
It's like putting
whatever, you would be angry.
Let me backtrack on it. If it was like the SEV, SEV or EVS or something, like where if they move the S, like I know we're getting really deep down into the rabbit hole of my brain, but I don't want like an S blah 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 or an S number to be, be creative, come up with something different that like, and then maybe you have the like S at the end to harken back to it. It goes back to slapping the Mustang name on a freaking crossover. Stop it. It's something.
I don't know. I think Steve made a good point. I think slapping a Mustang name on, but Mitsubishi taking the Eclipse name and making it into an actual crossover without having another Eclipse at all is worse. Because your opinion probably differs because you're a Mustang owner and you're a Mustang guy, but like they literally had an iconic JDM sports car and was just like, nope, here's a Pontiac Aztec looking thing. And that's basically what
they did that with the Mach-E and they electrified it.
But they still have the Mustang, though.
I understand.
Like a regular, normal Mustang.
I would argue, in the world, the Mustang name is more iconic than the Eclipse name.
No, it totally is. I totally agree with that. I feel like what Mitsubishi did was worse, though, because they took something that was an icon, killed it, and then brought it back as this soul-sucking crossover.
Right.
At least the Mustang line still exists and lineage and can continue.
Kind of where I'm getting at, and that is like, look, certain nameplates need to survive. For Ford, the Mustang name needs to survive. It just kind of does. So I understand there will be a day where the Mustang will only be powered by electrons. There'll be, a Shelby E500 or I hope they don't. you're seeing a lot of conflict. But the Mustang is too
Yeah.
important a concept to let die because internal combustion dies. Same thing with like the Camaro. Same thing with like the Challenger or any of the or we've already seen the Charger. But like that, they have to make it real. But like the hallmark of the Mustang nameplate wasn't necessarily specific to like the engine. It was
Sure.
it was a thought that what if we gave something with really good looks, two doors, affordable, and had performance variants that the regular person could afford. Granted, it's become about the V8, and duh, but that concept can still live on in an electrified era. When for Honda, it's different to me because again, they were literally founded upon this high revving 4-cylinder two-seat sports car that was tiny and lightweight, but it just put a million-mile smile on your face. Like it's really see, because when I think Honda, I think high rev, or when I think the S2000 specifically, I think of that beautiful 4-cylinder engine and how much it can rev and how that's been the hallmark of that car for the whole thing. Like the engine makes the car. It's like, when the first Mustang came out, it wasn't that you don't immediately think 289. You don't think 351. You don't think 429, 427. Like, I don't know, man. It's just, for me, the S cars are more, the S cars are more about the engine than they are about the rest of the car. I don't know. I'm not articulating this as well as I would have hoped, but the long and short of it is that if they if they can good thing about electric cars is you can slap whatever the hell body you want on it and go to town. So
Sure.
like the idea of having these sports cars, like, yeah, let's give it a shot because we're not developing a whole new chassis, right? Theoretically speaking, of course. I would like to see them come out with a small electric, coupe, convertible, whatever. Just because those cars are fun. I don't know. For me, it's be creative. Like, try coming up with something different and see if it sticks. And then if it doesn't, make the or the E2000, as someone suggested in here, Doug Friends, or something like that. Just again, to make me feel better. At any rate, Antoine, be thankful Acura didn't take the Integra nameplate and turn it into a crossover. Yes, true. Whether you love it or hate it, Acura kept the Integra a passenger car. Unofficial shout out to whoever spy photographers caught the pics of the upcoming Integra Type S coming next year. I think that's going to be the car for me. I mean, if it's even, it's probably gonna share Type R DNA, so that's gonna be a hell of a machine.
Yeah. No
Calling
doubt.
the Mustang Mach-E a Mustang is like calling The Last Jedi a Star Wars movie. Yeah. I saw a rumor, not to get woefully way off topic, but I saw a rumor floating around that they were going to let, who the hell is it? His name's going to escape me. Did The Mandalorian, at any rate, they were going to let him do a sequel trilogy retconning the sequel trilogy, which I'm all for. At any rate,
Yes.
not Lucas. Christ, he was
J.J. Abrams.
no, the director.
Yeah, J.J. Abrams. He's the guy that did Star Trek.
He was Star Trek, and I think he did a Star Wars, but I'm talking about specifically Mandalorian. He was Iron Man's assistant. He was, in PCU. Is Don't Be That Guy.
Not Jeremy Piven. The other guy.
Uh,
Oh my God.
Jon Favreau.
Jon Favreau. Thank you.
All right.
Now that that's over with.
Now that brain fart is gone, Thank you, Doug. Thank you, Doug.
Doug had it.
Um,
We Googled it. Google had it before you.
all right, kind of moving off of the production side of things. We're gonna move into uh, modifications of your car, and specifically BMW V10s. I think it's V10. Is it V10? BMW engine, Greg? Greg?
Yes, it's a BMW V10. So it's
Uh,
definitely on the note of reliability, definitely up there as not.
but hey, guess what happens when you put something that looks like. Actually, I'm gonna write this down. All right, so if you have a BMW V10, it's great until the warranty runs out, and then things. But then to make it even better, you can do what these guys did.
I'm sorry, hang on before you play that. Oh man, Steve, my next mod to my Jeep is pushing it off of a cliff. Oh, dude, that's hysterical. I love that. That's awesome. The R and B of Justin, equally funny. The R and BMW stands for reliability. That's great.
Just
There's
like
a great meme out there for Volvos. It's like the A in Volvo stands for aerodynamics, and it's just a picture of a 240. It's so good.
oh my gosh. But so Greg sent me over this link to what is it? There's a Claritech.
It's an E60 M5 V10, right?
Yep. And so let's face it, V10s are awesome. This one has individual throttle bodies, makes it awesome. All right, so it's a BMW, so you kind of have to keep an eye on it. Oh, great, there's our DMCA. They're uncrating a set of headers for it. And anyone who's ever looked at matched headers, they're the most beautiful thing in the world. Well, this is not designed by
Except for this thing.
This is not designed by one of these guys' daughter who's went to a hair braiding class. These are
This looks like the devil's cod piece. Like, look at that thing.
it's a 10-into-1 header. 10 into 1.
It's so ridiculous.
Now,
But it's awesome. Look at it. It's so cool.
I don't even want to know like how many years this shaved off the guy who had to weld its life, and the fact that it seems like it's something you can buy, which is nuts. But I'm just trying to figure out how this thing like fits in the car. Yeah, it's something you can actually buy. Greg, buy it for your car.
If we had a Stars-a-thon and we got tens of thousands of dollars, I would be more than happy to swap a V10 with this header system into my car, or buy a car and do that. That would be awesome.
You should get 6-into-1 turbo headers.
Just stroked out looking at that header. Yeah, look at it. It's crazy. Also, when I first saw this and I saw CLE as the first three letters, I honestly thought Cletus McFarland made this for them. I was just like, no, no, Cletus is not. He's mad, but he's not this mad.
I'm not sure I understand this. Maybe you can explain, infer. Makes the exhaust on a 1954 Y block 239 look free flowing. Anyone?
I don't know what that means.
Because 10-into-1 actual equal length headers. The amount of math required for that hurts. Like, actually hurts.
Yeah, that's the craziest thing to me. It's like, I get, like, okay, unequal length versus equal length, but, like, that right there makes it equal length. That's bananas. Like, that's so crazy. Look at that rat's nest.
So this is what happens when you take your BMW and install it into the Dothraki, and it gets a braid for every battle it wins.
Pretty much. I mean, it looks like Predator. Like right there, that looks like Predator face. It does. It looks like you got the dreads, you got the eyes, you got the face part of it. I mean, the middle of the face, and it looks like the Predator.
Thank you for clarifying. The 239 Y block has the most unequal length exhaust I've ever seen. Just looks confusing to me. This actually brings up a good, apart from how awesome this is, that's obviously points A through Zeta. But you look at that, and it got me thinking. And then Doug's comment about the blind block is, you tune a car's sound based on the exhaust, right? And a lot of pickup truck exhausts have massively unequal length headers because the noises kind of come in and cancel each other out, and you get just a nothing noise. Whereas the more open it is, the more noise you're going to get. I shouldn't say that. The more distinctive the noise is, I should say. But I mean, I'm still trying to figure out. This goes under the. No, this goes over the top of the engine. It's got it.
I think so, yeah. But I mean, where else would it go? There's nowhere else for it to fit. There's no way that goes underneath.
Yeah, it's got it. Just look at the way that, if you look at, where is it? If you look at here, look at the way the upswing in the primaries are.
Right.
This also reminds me, if you remember, so Greg, do you know if they did another video with this installed in a sound clip?
Did they?
No. I'm asking if you did. Or asking you.
Oh, I think they did. I think it's installed. This was done like a month or two ago. So I think they have another one with it installed.
All right. Well,
we're going to queue that up because we need it now.
I have to find this.
Yeah. You do that. I'll be right back.
E60 M5 V10 versus the Viper 8.4 liter V10. I'm always going to side with the. I'm always going to find with the Viper V10 just because it is. It just screams America. Like, oh, a V8, that's great. Well, man, we'll put 10 cylinders. What's that? You want overhead cams? Pfft, we're fine with push rods, and they are. It's awesome. Apparently they put an LS into a Mustang. I hate these guys. Driftworks, I remember, 30. Let's see if it Driftworks. YouTube ads. I'm working on it because I need to hear what these things sound like. Because I don't know if any of you guys remember. Hoonigan had a Bandit Trans Am that had 8-into-1 headers similar to this. Longs for exhausting, yes. I can't copy that. That looks kind of awkward, but yeah, that's how. This is what the header looks like installed. Look at that. That is hysterical. I wonder, this makes me think heat soak has to be a bitch with this. You're literally running exhaust right next to your intake. Well, I guess manifold, even though if you look at the top here, like you see the ITBs up here. So, yeah, heat soak. That's going to be a problem. Let's see. Well, welcome to modern engine bays and putting a modern engine into a not so modern engine. None of them are easy to work on, but that is the most hysterical thing. Like, what? Hold on, I have to screenshot this. That looks as Your cell died. You're back. Well, welcome to what can only be described as an automotive codpiece. It's wow. All right. Please hold. Oops. Paste. All right. There's that. All righty. Let's see if we can. That's just perfect example of what I'm talking about, chat. Like, I'm sure they explain it, and I'm sure they're gonna have some sort of like heat shield and everything, but your 10 throttle bodies are right here, and the header goes right past it. That's and right underneath the hood and everything. That's yeah, I'm very curious to see how this what this thing has heat soak wise. So all right, let's see if I can find an actual video of this.
Did they not do one?
They did an install video, and
Oh, okay.
to show you the batshit that is that insanity. Oh, it's almost like I just had this up. And desktop width. And there you go, Greg.
Oh, man. Okay.
So it is over the top. Just use a cool can, you'll be fine. That's going to suck wrapping that up to prevent heat. But look at that.
Look at that.
Heat soak is going to be a problem.
But yeah, just a hot air. The entire engine is just a hot air intake now.
Yeah, I mean, you better put velocity stacks through the fucking roof hood. Like,
that's insane. Look at that.
That is so bonkers to me.
You have to run that without a hood.
Yeah.
Just no hood.
No hood at all. So I don't think they have.
That is crazy.
I don't think they have a video, but what I'm going to do is Greg, be entertaining. I'm going to see if the company has one.
Okay, that would be interesting. So I guess a good question for this is, what are some of the cars that you guys know that have the most interesting headers, just in general? Obviously, like Subaru comes to mind because they were famous for their unequal link headers, which is what you get with the Subi. The Subi Rumble has nothing to do with the boxer engine; it all had to do with the headers. What are some of the cars that you guys know? Obviously, Doug had talked about the 239 Y block before, with just like interesting headers. Amelia Hartford, creator on YouTube, she just did a huge big block Mustang build with this like massive supercharger and stack that they actually fabbed their own headers for, which I thought was really cool. That's one of the reasons why I like watching her videos, is because she's not just like an influencer or anything. She's actually a wrench. Like, she'll get in there and like she welded her own headers. Like, that's awesome. Like, that's cool to me. You know, a lot of DIY YouTubers, they don't get as into a build as she does, which is cool. And like, she knows her stuff. Like, she'll get it. Lancer Evo, I don't know. This is a question for you guys. Like, I don't know. I want to look up interesting header designs because I know that there's gotta be. I know the Volvo V8 that was transversely mounted in the XC90, and the S80 is pretty interesting just because it's like it's just a transverse V8. Like, I know you don't see those a lot, so it's kind of cool.
I submit for your approval.
Whoa, look at that thing. What is that? What are those?
That is a Bandit. I told Chad about this. This is originally what I thought of when I heard you when you first told me about these 10-1 headers. Is the
oh, this car? I know, the the super wide. What was that, Trans Am?
Yeah. So,
Yes.
but yeah, that it sounds nuts. And there's, I gotta find it.
That's crazy.
There's video of it. Here we go. Let me just give me a second. There's video of this thing running.
The Trans Am or the 10 into
The
1?
Trans Am.
Okay.
Yada yada yada. Car guy stuff. There we go.
Should I mute myself?
Muting Euphoria. Yes. Actually, yes. Oops.
Can't say anything.
I hate. There you go. Hoonigan. Oh, missed the shift. Yeah, there's. I could have swore they had. I could have swore they had like a in the yard video, but I can't find it. So instead of fruitlessly searching for videos,
That's fine.
we'll try. We'll get on that and try to figure it out.
Yeah.
Anyway, wow, it's almost been 2 hours.
Well, I joined late. That's why it's
That
gone by so quickly.
that's why it feels longer than 2 hours.
Yes.
So they yeah, so I didn't write this down. Alrighty. 44. Alrighty. Steve wants to know how was trick or treating with the Greg, with the Greg kids.
I'm echoing. According to Doug.
Doug, thank you. There you go. Better description.
Yes.
So
I actually didn't go trick or treating with the kids. It was
gasp.
It was a total cluster F around here before I got on. We tried to order food. The kids went trick or treating in Morristown, which is a neighboring town, with some friends. Then they came back here. On the way back here, my wife was like, "We need to call in pizza. One of the families is coming back with us. We're gonna eat here and then go trick or treating." So I'm like, "Okay." I call in the pizza. They're like, "It's gonna be an hour and a half to deliver." I'm like, "That's not real." So I go over there and try to pick it up. Nothing's ready, and I was there for a solid 45 minutes. And I'm just like, "Just go trick or treating now. I'm gonna be here for like 30, 45 minutes." So they just went around the block, around the neighborhood a couple times. Got candy, got back, and that was it. So I didn't go with them actually. I was picking up pizza at dinner. So from what my wife told me, it was very nice. They had a blast. Other than that, I have no idea. Not a clue. Hi, it's just me now. I don't know where Chad went. Maybe he went to pee. Oh, what would since it's just me now, I have carte blanche to ask whatever whatever the hell I want. Hi, Doug. Do you? I gotta look up if this is like a legal thing to do on Facebook. Um, Hi, Justin. Uh, should we do a Stars-a-thon where we try to get enough money through Facebook Stars to buy a car or go like to like a bring a trailer or cars and bids and bid on a car and then give the car away? I think I don't know if it's even humanly feasible, or if it's even like legal to do on Facebook. I have to like go. I would love to like chat with a Facebook representative to like actually figure out if that we could do that. But could we do like a Stars-a-thon where like everyone that like tunes in gives like Justin and Steve did before, like 100 stars, which is like $1, and however many people come on and give 100 stars, you get like an entry into like winning the car. I think that would be really cool. That would be interesting. It wouldn't be a subscriber thing, Steve. It would be just like for someone to like tune into the stream and give 100 stars. Like that would be your like entry into get it like potentially getting the cars, or getting a car. Like I think that would be really cool if we could do that. Um, Justin, absolutely. My toxic trait is trying to win one of those giveaways. Those giveaways are totally legit, by the way. I met one of the guys, um, that's actually local. It's a company called Prime Driven, I think it's called, and they do giveaways, a lot of JDM stuff. They're doing like side giveaways, is like Prime Daily or something like that, where they do like lower end builds or stuff like that. But I met the guy. I think his name is Justin actually, and he's like the nicest dude. Like they're all like legit. They're all legit giveaways. 80/80 Prime Driven. I think there's a big truck one that I'm forgetting the name of. Uh, I think that would be really cool to do. I would love to see it. And Doug, before I even read your response, it would be like just like a Facebook thing, just to get people on stream, and I think it would be a fun thing to do, where we get like 20 or 30,000 people to donate 100 stars, and then we buy something on Bring a Trailer, and then give it away to someone that gave 100 stars. Like I think it would be pretty neat. But Doug says, honestly, I'd rather have a channel sponsored car that we get to see improve and get the name out there that we can be part of. Of course, it'd have to be a Volvo. My wife has told me I can't get more cars, but she also said that 5 cars ago.
Win this car.
Yeah. There you go. I mean, yeah, I'd love to do that too, where, you guys can physically see, for your subscriber, money that you generously donate to us, that goes back into building a car. And, my goal for 2023 is to do that, where we recycle the money that we get for shifting lanes from you guys for subscribers, for stars, for general YouTube views. Reels are now generating income for us. So like all of that combined, like gives us a good base to like basically just do stuff with. So I'm hoping in 2023, that's like the goal for me, is to do another project car, and to do it with you know, personally Volvo stuff, but also to branch out from Volvo and do other things, because I love Volvos, but want to do things that are not like just Volvo forever. So hopefully next year that'll be the start of that. Alan, what's up? K-Swap the world. Welcome back to the stream, dude. Nice to have you again. Yeah, we don't have haven't had a ton of people on tonight just because it's Halloween. So, and happy Halloween to everybody.
The mother of all non-holidays.
No, that's Valentine's Day.
Mm.
Because at least Halloween, like, kids have fun. Valentine's Day is just like lame. It was made up by the greeting card industry, essentially. Like, oh, how can we make lots of money? And that's basically how it happens.
Oh, and you don't think Halloween's in the pocket of Big Chocolate?
No, because Big Chocolate makes lots of money every other day of the year. Trust me, I have insider knowledge of this.
Dude, I live in a town where you can literally smell chocolate.
I know.
I know your dad worked there. Shut up.
Yes, my dad literally worked at M&M Mars. I know these things.
But I came in on your conversation about a quote unquote supporter car.
That'd be cool.
I mean, I'm 100% down to do a car and a giveaway and things like that. You know, I'd love to do it around stars and merch. You can either just say here, or you could just like do a merch run of like and every when you buy a merch, you get it the shirts like update monthly in this. So like
Yeah.
the new project and it's a question mark. The new project and it's like a beat up old whatever, and then the merch evolves with the car itself. And if you buy X,
Yeah.
like every like all the other ones do, every $10 gets you one entry or whatever.
Right, right,
But
right.
I've always really wanted to do that because after the Mustang, I mean, I'd like to do an off road build. I think that's like the next thing I seriously get into after the Mustang, and it's really weird to start talking about something other than the Mustang because that's been all encompassing. But Q2, early Q3 next year. But I think it would be cool if we like got like
That'd be cool.
an old P2 or something, fixed it up, and depending on, like stars would determine mods, merch would just get it, like something, and I'm just
Yeah,
thinking
yeah,
out
yeah.
loud here, but I always thought that'd be a cool idea just because,
That'd
you
be
know,
cool.
I don't foresee myself getting bored with the Mustang anytime soon.
AMC Eagle giveaway. That would be funny.
The original
That would
SUV
be very funny. That's right.
or
The
crossover.
original hot wagon.
I'm pretty sure there's some 60s era stuff that
Shh, don't. No, no, no. AMC Eagle.
why didn't my comments go through? Did I comment on the wrong stream?
Probably.
I didn't. Huh. Odd.
Well, that's weird.
That's very weird. I've banned myself from my own chat. Damn it. It's probably from all the Gregson muting.
Probably. That's the payback.
Hey, there's someone on YouTube watching us. Hi, YouTube.
Antoine, in answer to your question, yes, we're trying to test it out on Shifting Lanes too. We're actually streaming there live as well. So we're simulcasting here on Facebook as well as on Shifting Lanes 2 on YouTube. And if someone's watching from YouTube, hello.
They stopped watching
We're
immediately.
Okay, fantastic. We're gonna be testing it out there. Maybe even moving it to the main channel eventually, but that remains to be seen if we can get enough people doing it. There is a third channel we started called Shifting Lanes Live, but we don't have any VODs up from the last month or two on there. So you don't have to subscribe to that or anything, but we've been testing it out on YouTube as well. We just have the largest audience on Facebook, so that's where the majority of our views come from for these streams.
Yes. That. Yeah, so basically like the replay of these streams are going to be up on SL2 on a dedicated stream playlist for the next month or so. You could go back and watch there. Excuse me. We're going to we're like Greg said, we're experimenting. We just want to grow the brand, man. We were just talking about wanting to do give something major back. And we're trying everything we can to make that a reality. Just like we're looking into, probably won't get into it in earnest, but I 100% next year want to do a meetup with everyone and at like the local drag strip we use, and let people run us against in their cars, just show off their cars if they don't want to run it on the strip, which I totally understand. Sissies. But like just hang out because like so many people guys like Steve, Justin, Alan, Doug, Antoine, more Aaron Whitesall, more and more people I'm forgetting because I have the memory of a freaking chipmunk. It's just you're in the chat, and I feel like I talk to you weekly, which is more than a lot of my family. You know, it'd be cool to put faces to names and all that other sort of stuff. Um, Doug, hard to do a Coyote and an Eagle, but the front axle is challenging. But folks have done an AMC V8 swaps with a fair amount of effort. Um, let's just say an AMC Eagle's like a 2036 goal. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I'm not really into the AMC Eagles. They're cool, but I would not own one, nor would I swap one. So, sorry guys. I would much rather do something old and Volvo-y.
Yeah. 2J and an Eagle isn't a bad idea. I think putting 2Js in things is never a bad idea just because it's hysterical. Because someone gets offended. Whether it be
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Supraists or whatever. I saw a guy put a 2J in a S550 Mustang. And it was an EcoBoost. So, yeah, that's cool. Awesome. I mean, it was a bit of a basket case, but worked. Did
Yeah.
burnout. So, yeah.
That's all that matters.
Antoine, you guys need to get your main channel up. So many YouTubers are at 400, 500, 900, and a million subscribers. What's holding you all back? It's a slow grind. A lot of, let me put this way. The biggest growth we ever saw is when we did the first Volvo. And then we've just been steady from there. But a steady audience is a good audience because they're more likely to come back. Without getting too into the technical minutiae of YouTube, a steadily growed audience will likely stick around and watch more of your content than, you know, a channel that just doubled their subs in one video. Because it's really hard to duplicate those types of videos if you don't have certain things in your advantage. We could do a giveaway, meaning giveaway by doing a 2J swap in my Jeep. That's also not a terrible idea, you know, providing the motor for someone or something like that, you know, a sorted motor. But, I mean, just get the Walmart straight six. We've talked about this.
Yeah, for what Antoine said about the main channel though, it's like it's also tough because we've made the decision from a business standpoint to like that's our OEM reviews channel now, and like Chad and I are focused on growing like Shifting Links 2 and this stream and like doing this, that, and the other thing. But like what we're also doing a lot of now is you're going to be seeing a lot more shorts and reels that we're doing because that is where everyone's going. Everyone wants to battle TikTok, and we're leaning heavily into that without going on TikTok really. Like we have a TikTok channel, but we don't really post there all that often because, you know, I personally see TikTok as being this, you know, 5 to 10 year thing, and then it going the way of MySpace because TikTok's great and all as far as like their algorithm is concerned, but they don't have Google money. YouTube does. So I feel like YouTube is going to be the play, you know, for very long term. And, you know, TikTok skews to like a younger audience. We don't really have or cater to a younger audience. We cater to people that are actually going to buy cars, which is, you know, 25 to 65. That audience are car buyers. Most people under the age of 25. Some people obviously are, but most people under the age of 25 are not a big section of car buyers. So for the main channel, that doesn't make sense to do that play. But doing that same thing for shorts on the main channel and then also on Shifting Lanes 2 for like project cars and stream highlights and stuff like that, like that'll help growth everywhere. So hopefully over the next year or two, shorts plus long form stuff combined, it's going to make both channels like just go a lot higher. So that's sort of like what we're trying to do now.
Yeah, it's boils down to is we're trying to stay in the moment or just ahead of the moment. Like Greg said, Shifting Lanes used to be everything, and we've noticed that viewership is up by being specific, and that's what YouTube likes. The second channel is kind of where we're going to throw a lot of our experiments, all of our project car stuff, all of the stream stuff from here forward, whether it be highlights or the full VODs, and see how it goes. But let me put it to you this way. 5 years ago, if you told me I'd be doing this, I'd be building a Mustang with, you know, content creation money, all that other stuff, I would have laughed at you. So steadily growing, you know, we still get somewhere in the neighborhood on the main channel anywhere from 700 to 1,000 subs a month. So
Yeah.
that's not unimpressive, and Hanson does a great job with it, and we're hoping to grow this. You know, Greg and we're all focused on growing the brand as a whole, but you know, our focus is on, just because of how good of a job Hanson does. You know, my focus is on these streams. My focus is on some of our project car stuff. I have a butt ton of content coming out very soon with both the C30 and the Mustang. And all that other sort of stuff. So, like, you're going to want to be tuned into the second channel. We'll just go with that because we got a lot of really awesome stuff. Exactly, Doug. But again, like Greg said, we take all of our money and we put it back into creating content. So it's not like it's not like there's something sitting in the behind me, like some ornate statue or something. There actually isn't. I'm not like, but like,
yeah. We literally take all the revenue and just split it 3 ways, and we've it's either in our savings accounts or whatever, but like we take the money, but like it's just sitting there. Like I'm not putting that towards my mortgage. Like I'm saving up for a car, Chad's using it for his Mustang. Hanson's saving it, I believe, to buy a C8 Corvette one day because he loves that car. So, we're taking this money and either saving it or utilizing it in ways that helps build the stream, helps build the main channel, the side channel. Like a thing that I purchased, and I know Hanson and Chad have purchased as well, like the laptop that I'm streaming on is a gaming laptop that I used Shifting Lanes money to purchase. And that is, one, a tax write-off for us from a business perspective, but 2, we utilize that money to, again, make you better content. And having, that these streams on my work laptop, which I have off to my right, that's not feasible because that's, a 3-year-old MacBook Air, and it's just not a great streaming laptop. But a gaming laptop is a great streaming laptop because of the heat sinks it has, better graphics card. I bought a dedicated Logitech cam for $100 to be part of this. So we utilize that money in other ways, not just for cars, but to bring you better content. And getting a laptop to help make the stream better for you guys is also a part of that equation. So Doug, 100 stars for looking at a statue. Thank you for that. For a stupid looking statue that does not exist behind Chad. There you go. Wait, why do you have a frog statue on your desk?
I don't know. That half the stuff behind me. So I have Sparky from the Somerset Patriots, which is that. I have a Tom Seaver bobblehead. I have 94 Rangers memorabilia, a Mickey Mantle plate, ticket from the Home Run Derby at Yankee Stadium, whole mess of stuff.
That's cool.
But yeah, I forget what I was doing. Yeah.
But I appreciate that, Doug. We like you making money. It's a good thing for our entertainment. Don't be shy. Yeah, definitely are not shy. Live stream showcases that for sure. We don't want to just be like, give us money, but also give us money. The best way to help is just to watch the YouTube videos, because that's where our lion's share of our income is from. With all this short-term stuff going on, reels are huge. So watching the reels, that actually helps, and commenting on the reels and sharing them and liking them, that's a big help, just because it gets the algorithms going to be oh, this reel is getting lots of engagement, we're going to push it to a larger audience. It's the same thing with YouTube. Oh, we get lots of watch time and good engagement and likes and comments, and that's why you see YouTubers going, hey, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe, because that tells the algorithms to push it to audiences that are not just theirs. So just watching our stuff, that's the biggest help.
Oh, yeah. I mean, watching our stuff, sharing it with your friends, getting
Yeah.
people involved in the conversation. You know, if you see like the biggest thing, honestly, if you guys wanted to help us, the guys who are here every single week, if you wanted to, the biggest way you can help us out, I love that you're sending stars. That is mind blowing to me. Like I cannot accurately express how thankful I am for that. Just share it. Just throw it up in your feed. Share it with your
Yeah.
feed. Say hey, your friends. Like come hang out. It's a good time. Like whatever. You know, that Chad guy's a jackass. And we love Greg. Whatever.
Yes. 100% accurate.
You know. So just real quick,
Fully accurate statements.
there's some comments in chat. I wanted to go. Alan, what's your main channel? It's literally Shifting Lanes. I replied to you with the link. Antoine asks, you guys keeping up with Hanson and hanging out with him these days when you guys are away from your main jobs? The three of us talk daily, literally.
Yeah.
We literally talking all day, every day, which I'm sure the other two guys love having to hear what I have to say on a daily basis. But, you know, and when life allows it, we hang out, you know, and try to talk about everything. You know, we talk about shifting lanes and cars all day, every day. It's sometimes nice to just sit
Yeah.
here and be like, hey, Greg, Seahawks suck, you know, or
Yes, they do.
hey, Greg, I hate the devil, you know, like talk about sports, talk about this, talk about that, like
Yeah.
catch
Yeah.
up with Greg about, you know, his wife and the kids, you know, that's all. We're all friends first and shifting lanes second. So
Yeah.
we
Exactly.
talk a lot. Alan asks, but do you game? Because I'm going to game with you. I'm on currently on MW2. So if you're looking for a lobby and the servers can decide they want to handle it, Chenity one on Activision. And Antoine kind of piggybacks on that. Just out of curiosity, you guys still play Gran Turismo 7 or the new COD with the map that's like a racetrack? I've played it a couple times. The new map, it's not too bad as far as COD maps go. It feels larger, but it's cool. Like the cars are actually on track. I'm actually one of these days going to make a video with it and go from that. Gran Turismo 7, I just kind of lost interest. I might be getting back into doing the racing games on one of the nights during the week when the golf season slows down. But I've just had, it's been nuts. So like, usually when I get home, I kind of want to think about everything other than, you know, my free time. I just do something mindless, and that's kind of it. Speaking of reels, Steve asked Greg, what's the end result about your Volvo?
You'll have to watch the reels to find out. No, of course, I'm going to tell you right now because you're one a subscriber and watching the stream. Turns out it was the O2 sensor. It was the front O2. The car is now fixed. The tune is still wonky. So I've been in touch with Rob Hilton, who owns and operates Hilton Tuning. We just need to data log the car essentially. So this same streaming gaming laptop that I have here is also going to just be my tuning laptop, just because you don't need a lot of power to tune a car. So it's just, you know, another thing I can use the laptop for that will also help make content for the channels. So it was a front O2. Hang on, I have it right here because I saved it and I wanted to make a reel out of it, obviously. But here is the O2 itself. There we go. You can see it's pretty roached out. There's a lot of carbon buildup, which isn't uncommon because obviously this is controlling fueling, and this is right after the turbo. So you're going to get, you know, a lot of stuff. But the whitening around here is just not great. It's just, yeah, what I think happened is the ceramic inside kind of got damaged. That's what Hilton believes happened. So we replaced that, and the car has no more check engine light. Great success. So I told that to Hilton. He sent me a link to do just a licensing thing for his data logger. He's going to send me back the file. I'll install it. We'll get an idle to see if there's anything going on with fueling or just, you know, general idle stuff with the car without it being under load. I'll send him that file and then we'll figure out what's going on. But I'm still getting that power sapping at like boost. So, third gear, right around between 3,000 and 3,500 RPM. When your foot's flat to the floor, it just like does this and plateaus. So, and then it just kind of keeps going up very, very little bit. But here's the thing: when I flashed it back to the stock tune, that power sapping did not exist. The car was very unhappy on the stock tune with the new high flow cat. Had nothing to do with the O2 sensor. It was just super not happy with the new downpipe and everything, and the high flow cat, like I said. So the new tune is definitely the issue for that power sapping. We just need to dial in the tables, and I think what's happening is too much fuel is trying to be shoved through right now. So I think we need to dial back the fuel mapping a little bit, and we'll figure it out. But the check engine light is gone. The tune will be dialed in. Almost every tune in existence, you need to have a base tune and then tweak it for the car. That's just what happens. So hopefully in the next week or two, we'll get it dialed in, and I'm going back to the dyno to see exactly how much power the car's making with the downpipe and a tune. We've unfortunately missed the season to bring this thing to the drag strip because that is now closed. This past Friday was the last test and tune of the year. However, I'm not going to be modifying this car again throughout the winter. So in the spring, we'll bring it back to the strip, test it as it is, and then after that, I'll probably save some more money through shifting lanes and maybe do intercooler, intake, bigger injectors, things like that. So, nothing crazy, but like bolt-ons to make sure that I get a little bit more power out of it. So that's what's up with the car. Check engine light is gone, thankfully.
Yay!
Yay! And now I can, and it still makes lots of pops and crackles out the back, so I can do hot boy shit, which is great.
Dork. Island drag strip. Steve, who asks which drag strip? Island in Great Meadows, yes. New Jersey.
Yeah, is it Great Meadows or is it Independence?
Great Meadows.
Okay.
It basically, depending on where you are, 40. Basically, from where we live, you take 46 West, and it's between the strip club and the gun store. That's the entrance.
Yes, in a very excellent area, right between the strip club and the gun store.
Antoine says, speaking of check engine lights, I need to get mine looked at. It's been on for over a month, but I'm having trouble money saved to get it taken care of. Have you run a code, or are you just waiting to take it in? Both are equally acceptable. Just curious, because you can get a code read at like an AutoZone for free, and it'll at least get you an idea.
I was just going to say, fun fact, you can go to an AutoZone and just get the code. It's going to be generic. It won't be like specific to your car, but it's still a code that you can potentially troubleshoot with.
Yeah, and it could tell you if it's something like Greg had, and like an O2 sensor going bad, or it could be, an evap, which is somewhere in the refueling section of or gas tank area of your car, or something like, something that could easily be a $50 fix, or let you know that it's soul crushing.
Right, exactly.
Doug, good point, Doug. This might actually be worthy enough of like a topic in and of itself, but is there any valid reason cars don't tell you the code without a code reader in 2022? No. I mean...
Yes.
No.
The reason is because everyone still uses the OBD2 system, and the OBD2 system has a port that you need to plug into for data as well as vehicle dynamics and things like that. There are things you can plug into the OBD2, obviously a code reader. There are now apps on your phone that you could just leave something plugged in, like, for example, Carly, which is very popular in the VW and BMW communities. You just leave it plugged in, you tap your phone, get the Carly app going, and then you can have like live vehicle diagnostics as you're driving. But as for it being built into the car, I believe it has to do with legalities and, dealers and stuff like that still having, some sort of control over it. But The answer is because there's no OBD3 system. And my guess is when there's an OBD3 system that comes out eventually, it will be integrated within the car's diagnostics and it will just be able to tell you the code. But right now it's still just OBD2. So that's my guess. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's my guess because every car still has that port you plug into.
I think chat can correct me, but I'm pretty sure as part of OnStar, Chevy has a system where they can actually do basic diagnostic work remotely.
No, you're right. Volvo has it too with the on-call stuff. It's not as robust as OnStar, but you can call Volvo on call. And they can do a basic diagnostic on your car live, which is cool. On call has a bit more. My parents have a Cadillac, and they've done it once or twice to figure out something with their car. Turned out to just be a faulty wire or something, or a faulty maybe O2 sensor or whatever. But they can help you a little bit in those kind of areas.
But yeah, I mean, I see no reason why it can't be somewhat integrated. I mean, how hard would it be? Like, so you have your OBD2 port here, your plug goes in here. You put a sandwich adapter that reads all the same signals and goes to a base computer to where you could sit here. And let's just say you need to have the car in position, can't be on, and it can only be in position 2 or something to read the codes or what have you. Like Doug said, the code reader lobby strikes again.
I don't know if there's a code reader lobby, but I don't know. I will blame the code reader lobby. We'll say that. I'm in.
Big
That's
OBD2 strikes again.
I could come up with.
Antoine, I'm just waiting to get it in. It might be carbon buildup from all the construction that goes down here in Florida. Wow, the comments threw me for a loop there. Every time I read, new comments come in. Lately having to go through construction zones to get where I need to go. Possibly time for injectors. I mean, you drive the car, you know more than I can, just based on quite literally 2 paragraphs. But yeah, man, I mean, if the code's on, I would at least take it to an AutoZone and have them run it, or find a buddy who has one.
Yep.
Just so you know what you're dealing with. I mean, for me, it would drive me nuts not knowing what I'm dealing with. It would just, yeah. And one continues, after he gets new injectors, if that's not it, I'm trading in my car. If you used to buy coil packs or to buy coil packs, and the coil packs cost over $100 for a V8, I'd rather have less headache with a turbo 4-cylinder than $800 on coil packs after I get the new injectors. Getting new spark plugs done by a coworker. I mean, yeah. Follow-up question. What do you have again that has a V8? Because color me interested. I mean, it is what it is. Everything adds...
It is a Chevy SS, I think.
I was going to say that. But everything adds complication, right? Like, a turbocharged on a 4-cylinder adds the complication of a turbo and piping and all the things that go with a turbo. My biggest issue with the C30 was turbo related. So, it's all good.
Yeah.
So Doug replies with, if the computer tells the OBD2 pin out that it's a P027, then the computer knows it's a P027 code. I'm with you there, Doug. I feel like instead of a check engine light, we should get something, everything's almost, all new cars are digital dash for the most part for most models. Check engine, XYZ, or check engine, press, the Konami code to get the code itself. I don't know. But I feel like that should be something you should be able to read from the dash. But again, the dealerships want you to come back, pay for service, all that other stuff. So I don't know. They might not. It might just be a cash grab. And Antoine, yep, 2017 Chevy SS sedan. Oh, there's your problem. It's an LS. Put a Coyote in it. You'll be better off.
There you go.
Where is Christian?
Yeah, where is Chris? He's probably out with the kids trick or treating.
Ah, yes, those little disposable income saps.
Rugrats.
Haha, don't have them. Meanwhile, the last 9 people we have in chat are like, oh, thank God that guy didn't procreate.
Mark, what's up, man? Thanks for joining. But you're right, OBD scanners are too cheap not to have now. They are very cheap. They definitely you can pick one up at AutoZone for like $50 now, which is great. Well spoken for a swap to a coyote.
What? My chat's behind it.
Justin. All right. Well, I mean, it's 10:30. I slept about 4 hours last night, so I think I'm gonna call it.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
If you want to stay on and chat, please do. But I think I'm hitting it because I'm going to bed.
Fair enough. No, I think that's a excellent place to call it for the evening. Thank you to everybody. Thank you to everybody who watched. We'll be back on next Monday, somewhere in the 8 o'clock region. And again,
Yes.
if you guys are go on head on over to Shifting Lanes 2, subscribe if you haven't already, and check out some of our stuff there because we got a lot of cool stuff. 3
Yes.
C30 videos are going to be incoming in the next in the coming weeks. So to all the people wondering where the C30 is, there you go.
Yep.
But other than that, that has been Gregson.
Yes.
I've been Chad, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching.
Yes. And Justin, we will put in the group who's next to pick the topic. I'll tag that tomorrow. I think it'll be Hunter Carroll, who hasn't been on for a while, but he's one of our oldest supporters, all the way back to when we did Patreon. So probably him. That would be my guess. But I will take a look and see who's up next. But I'm guessing it's him. So other than that, we'll talk to you guys in the supporter in the